Welcome back, everyone. This week we're going to be sharing our thoughts and our review of our recent cruise on the Disney Wish. We're also going to be responding to some of your questions that you sent us over Instagram a few weeks back. And yeah, let's get into it.
Before we get started, if you haven't already, we would love it if you subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell. We have a lot more fun videos coming out and we'd love to share them with you.
First, we're going to share just our thoughts about the Wish in general from our cruise, both before we got on the ship, while we were on the cruise, and also after we got off the ship. Just kind of give you guys our thoughts on our experience on the Wish. We're also going to respond to a lot of the questions you guys sent us over Instagram recently. So let's get started with our just general thoughts about the Wish. Like, what were we thinking before we even got on the ship?
When the Wish first came out, there was so much excitement, waiting to hear what it's going to be like and all those things. And watching that was fun, learning a little bit at a time. And then when it got started, it wasn't going so well. There was things not working, and
like when the first cruises happened.
It
got postponed by like a month and a half or 2 months.
So just watching all those things and everything, and then it sounded like we were getting a lot of feedback that people were not loving the Wish.
Yeah,
and we're like, oh, okay. I mean, we've loved Disney cruising so far, and we just thought, I don't know about going on the Wish. I remember the first thing that really enticed me. I've said this before. It was Carol Draper. She had a bunch of stories.
That's Disney Cruise Mama 3 on Instagram. You should go follow her.
I was just about to say that, but thank you. She had the most wonderful stories of just pictures of so many experiences on the Wish that I was like, oh my gosh, that looks fun and different.
Yeah.
And so I think that was the main, once we finally booked the cruise, it was like fun like a Disney cruise, but different than other ones. And we love Disney, but having something a little different is always good.
I guess we don't have a lot of like emotional investment or like memories invested in going on multiple Disney cruises over the years like some do. And I think
the nostalgia aspect.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't feel nostalgic to us. Whereas like Disneyland feels nostalgic to us because both you and I went when we were kids.
That's true. Every time that you want to change something there, that's upsetting.
Yeah. So I get the reluctance or the lack of excitement for a lot of people who've grown up going on Disney cruises. Maybe they just like a certain type of experience and they didn't see that was going to be happening on the Wish. Maybe it's an adult-only couple without kids going and they're like, the adult-only section doesn't look that great. So no, I'm good.
Right.
And I get that.
It seems almost like there's a lot more upcharging on this kind of cruise than others.
Yep. We've heard those criticisms before we even went on. So our friends Bryce and Crystal Rains went on the Wish earlier this year, and they went on adults only, no kids, and they had a blast. And I love the approach they had going on to it. They just said, we're not expecting the other, like the feel that they got from the other ships. We're expecting something new and different. And I like their take they had on it. And so I think that motivated us to really kind of approach this as like, hey, this is gonna be a Disney cruise. A lot of the stuff that we're gonna experience will feel really familiar, but it's also gonna feel really different, and that's okay.
Yeah. By the way, they are YouTube channel for Love of the Mouse, also on Instagram, so you should definitely follow them also. I think going into it, it was exciting for us to think this is gonna be different, because even going from the Wonder to the Fantasy, those are very different as far as size, but it's like you already know how to navigate the Fantasy if you've been on the Wonder. You don't know how to navigate the Wish if you've been on other ships because it is very different.
Yep.
But that's okay. It's actually not that hard to find your way around.
I'd say after the first day, maybe first day and a half, we felt like really comfortable as far as making our way around the ship. And they have so many deck plan maps all over the place. It's really easy to figure out where something is based on where you're at. From what I heard when they first like started cruising, they were missing some signage. All that's in place now. So making your way around the ship, while it's different, it's not that hard.
So it might be one of those things where when a new ship comes out, it would be fun to go on like a maiden voyage, but it's also probably fun to wait for a while till they get the kinks worked out.
Yeah.
For our cruise, the kinks were worked out.
Yep.
And we loved it.
As far as getting on the ship, I don't think we need to say too much because we'll probably refer to that stuff in responding to a lot of your questions you asked us. But overall, we had a great time. I just wish it was longer.
Yes, it was. And then we had the 4-night cruise because they only do 3 and 4 nights.
Yeah. By the way, I don't think that's going to change.
No.
If it does, it's going to be a long ways out because the Dream just started doing like 4 and 5 night sailings in the last year. That's only because the Wish replaced all the itineraries the Dream was doing.
Yeah.
So the Wish and the Dream was doing those 3 and 4 night itineraries out of Port Canaveral for years, a long time.
Yeah.
So
I appreciate that he knows all of these things because we've been on the Wonder the most, and the Wonder has a really large variety of itineraries, but some of the ships, like the Dream and the Fantasy, basically kind of do the same itinerary over and over, and it sounds like it's going to be like that with the Wish and the Fantasy, or the Wish and the Treasure.
Yep.
So the Treasure will be the longer cruises.
Yeah, that'll do the Eastern and Western Caribbean cruises out of Port Canaveral, just like the Fantasy did, and the Fantasy is going to do new cruises, just like the Dream has started doing new cruises now.
Yeah. So I think we're going to talk a little bit more about that in some of the questions later too.
Yeah.
But what was the other part of
after we got off the ship, came home? Like, did you have any other kind of like reflections or thoughts like after the cruise that maybe changed for the better or worse? Based on kind of what your thoughts were going into the cruise.
It was our 5th cruise, our 5th Disney cruise in a matter of less than 3 years, right?
2 years.
2 years. I want to say it was my favorite cruise, but then again, I had other cruises that I really loved too. So it was at least as good as my favorite cruise.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
What I was expecting to experience matched up with what our actual experience was.
Yes.
Where it was fun. It was princessy, which is not my vibe that much. So again, went into that knowing it's going to be princessy like everywhere.
If I was a parent of a young boy who isn't into princesses, it might have like caught my attention more. I didn't even really notice it.
Yeah.
And it was like, it's so pretty.
Yeah. I'm really excited. I'll just say this. I'm really excited about the theming on the Treasure.
Yeah.
Compared to the Wish. But we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
All right. So let's get to the questions. We have them on our phones. And so we'll be looking down at those a lot because we want to work through these pretty quick because there was a lot of questions you guys sent us.
Lots of questions.
Some of them were similar. So we grouped those together. But yeah, let's go.
So the first one is a back-to-back Wish or 7-night Treasure.
Back-to-back on the Wish being like a 3-night and a 4-night back-to-back together on the Wish or a 7-night on the Treasure.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I love the idea of doing a back-to-back because I think it'd be really fun you get off the ship, you leave all your stuff in your room, you go through customs and you get back on, and you're the first one on the ship. So that sounds fun.
Yeah.
I do want to do that someday, but if I had to pick between the two, 7-night Treasure for sure.
Yes, 100%.
And I mean, if it was back-to-back Treasure versus 7-night Wish, then I'd pick the 7-night Wish. I mean, which they're never going to have. But I just, the 7-night itinerary is better. What
do you recommend as a must-do or don't miss on the Wish? A number of you guys asked us this one.
I almost said to see Aladdin, which we missed because the girls said it was so much fun.
Yeah, they at least they saw it, and so we heard about it.
Yeah.
And I didn't even think about it. We could have watched it in our stateroom when we were packing.
Oh my gosh. I cannot even believe we didn't think about that.
I know.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a miss. What I wish I would have done was spent a little bit more time like in one of the lounges, like the Bayou or the Hyperspace Lounge.
Yeah.
Just to like, especially in the Bayou, because they had different like entertainers in there. They had bands playing. It would have been nice to spend like an evening there, just enjoying a drink and just enjoying some entertainment and just relaxing. That's one thing I probably wish I would have done.
This is another reason why the 7-night cruise is better, because in a 7-night cruise, your kids have more time to make friends.
And this is especially for those who have kids.
Yes. So if you have kids, I'm saying this. We were with our kids a lot, which is fun. But
which happens more on shorter cruises.
On the longer cruises, they have made friends, and we've had great times with them, and then great times away with them where we could go do things like go to lounges.
Yep.
Okay, my thing that I think you shouldn't miss is to go to all the restaurants. Because, I mean, all of the food was so good, and they were all really fun.
Yeah. I'd say if you want a 4-night on the Wish, maybe if you are gonna maybe you really want to do Palo or Enchante, choose the Pirate Night. Because that you can do a pirate menu, pirate night on any of the Disney cruises.
Yeah, that's true.
But when it comes to the Wish, that's the one I would skip. And you can always call Disney Cruise Line guest services ahead of your cruise to see which night that is and try to figure that out. What is one area we wish we would have enjoyed more? If there were less people, I would have liked to have actually hung out in like Quiet Cove area, like on the pool, like the infinity pool that looks out the back of the ship.
I would like to try the rainforest area, but you have to get a pass for the whole time, and it's really expensive.
Yep.
But I think if we do it again, I do want to do it. Maybe if there's the 7-night Treasure one, they'll let you just do it for a couple days. That'd be nice.
Yeah. Next question is first of all, they said hi with a couple exclamation points. This is our friend Karen from Hawaii. But she said, I heard that the Disney Wish is more for kids as compared to the other DCL ships. Do you agree? I
mean, they're probably talking about the adult only area, but I don't think so. I didn't have a different experience as far as kids versus no kids.
Yeah.
But I think doing the 4-night versus the 3-night will be better as far as kids.
Yeah, for sure. And the thing is, when you don't have kids with you, you magically somehow have more time to do things. To explore the ship and to, experience like just kind of relaxing in a lounge or going in the back of the ship where the adult quiet cove area is.
Yeah.
I'd say maybe a little bit. And the adult space is lacking compared to the other ships. So if that's something that you really like, if you spend most of your time hanging out in Quiet Cove on a lounger, reading a book in the pool, yeah, I could see that. But there's still so much to do around the ship.
I would be happy to go on that cruise without my kids.
Me too.
I mean, not yet. But
Yeah.
But I don't think I would think, oh, that ship is just about kids.
Yeah. I agree. The next 2 questions are similar. Where do we rank the Wish compared to the other ships? This is where it gets a little hard.
I think
a lot of you guys asked us this question.
I have this ranking problem when I'm thinking about like books I read and like giving it stars or something. Like there's a bunch of things that go into my ranking.
They all have their pros.
Yeah.
And they all have maybe some cons.
I would say
when you compare them.
Number 1, they're all great.
Yes.
Cruising with Disney is about amazing service, delicious food, fun, family-friendly atmosphere. You get that on all the ships.
Yeah. We really loved the fantasy cruise we went on last year. And I think partly because it was a 7-night itinerary. It's the longest cruise we've done. And it was just so nice. But oddly enough, that was where we got our least favorite like level of service. Yes.
That is the only cruise we did not receive the very best service on.
Yeah. And we still made the best of it.
That is true.
If I were to rank, gosh, the Wonder just is so far up there because it was our first cruise. I love the adult only areas on the Wonder and the Magic because they're big. They have plenty, like they have 2 hot tubs. They got a nice pool you can hang out in and just chill if it's a hot day.
When you're picking a cruise, because I did see, I don't know if you put this in the questions. I know that someone had asked, should I do a shorter Wish cruise soon or a fantasy cruise that's longer? I say go for the longer cruise.
Yeah,
and
always.
Fantasy's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, if you have littler kids, they can go to the kids club whatever. They don't have to make friends first. So with teenagers, when they're kind of self-sufficient, it's really nice to go on a cruise that has at least one day at sea first where they get a chance to make friends.
Don't ask us these questions. They're really hard to answer.
Go on a Disney cruise and have a great time.
Yes.
You will have fun no matter what ship you go on.
Yep. And then we had a few others ask us, Wish versus Fantasy. I would say Fantasy because it has longer cruises.
Yeah.
That's what I would say to that one.
But I also think it'd be great to experience the Wish someday if you can.
Yes. Yeah. And, if you want to experience a new ship, one of the newer ships, but you like a longer cruise, wait for the Treasure.
Yep.
That's what I would do.
We're hoping to go on the Treasure eventually.
Yep. These are some other questions, individuals questions we got, and we're going to treat this like a lightning round.
Oh boy. Here we go.
So let's work through these really quick because we don't want to spend too much longer on this. Was the Wish everything you anticipated?
Yes.
Yes.
And more.
And more. Yeah, not less. But yeah, I think it met our expectations and exceeded in other areas too. Yep. We're doing good. Thoughts on Hook's Barbary? I have an upcoming appointment in a week or 2. Well, I hope this video gets out in time. It may not. Apologies if that happens. It was really relaxing. It was nice to feel pampered, I guess, with the shave and the facial, scalp massage, all that kind of stuff. That's what I got. It was like $109 plus tax and tip.
Would you do it again?
Probably not.
Okay.
Yep. It was great for a one and done. Kind of like going to Remy for us. Great experience. Probably not going to do it again.
Or do it again.
If we do it again, it won't be every cruise.
Yeah. I think it's just the cost factor, right?
Yes.
So if you have all the money and you can do whatever you want, then go to all
Totally. Oh, I would do it again if money weren't an issue.
Yes.
Yeah. Another question. Did you do an onboard booking placeholder?
Oh, we always do.
Always do. We always get a placeholder because even if you're not going to use it, you can get a refund.
Yep.
Easy.
But we always use it.
So far we
We're
have.
addicts.
Unfortunately. All right.
Fortunate.
Yes. Not to our bank account. Can you switch one of the rotation dinners to a different restaurant? Or, like, in other words, if we want 1923 twice instead of only once? Yes, is the quick answer to that. Best way to do it is call up Disney Cruise Line or have your travel agent do it if you have a travel agent. Call them up ahead of time and request that. There's no guarantee it'll happen. I know I requested 1923 twice for us.
Good job. didn't even know that.
I know. But that ended up being a really good choice for us because we love that space.
Yeah.
So, yes, you can. You just got to call ahead of time and request it. The earlier, the better.
You can request anything.
Yes. They won't guarantee it.
Yes.
But, yeah.
So if you have something that you're interested, but also the earlier, the better.
Yes. Did the ship feel busier since it's bigger? We sail next month. First of all, have a great time on your cruise.
Yes. I felt like it was smaller than the Fantasy.
Yeah.
It felt smaller.
I think it's because a lot of the spaces are smaller. There's more spaces, but they're smaller.
And they were not crowded.
Yeah. I did hear a couple people say they went to a few trivias like in Keg and Compass, which we really didn't hang out in. That's another regret. I wish we did that more.
Me too.
I wish we had time to do a trivia, but we just didn't because it was a quick cruise or a short cruise. But I heard from a few people that they went to trivias in there and it felt really crowded. Like they're standing room only if you didn't get there early enough to get a seat. How did the cost compare to the others in the fleet? Honestly, I think it's because of the timing we went. We went in the fall when it's hurricane season. The cost actually wasn't that much different than going on a Wonder Cruise that we went on last year.
Yeah, I think our biggest tip is book as early as possible, spread out the payments, pay monthly.
And know when a good time of the year is to go when the cost isn't as high, and also that works for your schedule.
Yeah.
Because there are times where it's cheaper. There are times when it's more expensive, like spring break, holidays, middle of summer, more expensive.
Yeah, the cost fluctuates for sure.
Yep. How much money... Thanks, Michaela. How much money would you have spent if there was a Buc-ee's on board?
Oh. Well, I mean, when we were at Buc-ee's, everything we bought was like, well, this would be way more expensive. We bought it on the cruise ship. So we did spend quite a lot of money at Buc-ee's, but...
I don't think we would have spent nearly as much on at Buc-ee's if it was on board because we wouldn't have felt the need to get all the snacks because there's so much food on the ship already.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of what we spent our money on was food and snacks and other things like that.
At Buc-ee's, not on the cruise.
Yeah. Probably not as much, to answer your question, but thank you. Is the food better on the Wish? Yes, I think so.
I think the food was the best.
Yep.
So far.
Yep. What did you think of the ship's flow?
I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
I loved where we got our room, really close to the pool deck and really close to the elevator /
Where you get your room can make a big difference.
I did not see a problem with there only being 2 stair and elevator things because of where they're situated. It was easy to find everything. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
And I was so surprised because a lot of people have complained, but I think we went in expecting to not like it and we were surprised.
Yeah, and that was from our friend Deanna, but who asked that. But yeah, it made sense after a day. Not having the 3 stairwells with the
the first
elevators.
On the Wonder, it took at least a day to get situated.
True. Best food item at the market, Marceline Market.
Yes.
And best food item for rotational dining.
Okay, you go first. I keep answering first.
So best food item at the Marceline Market. I kind of love the fact that they had the charcuterie board, charcuterie platter.
That's what I was thinking.
That was really cool that they had it. It was like a mini version of the meat and cheese antipasti that you get in Paula Brunch. A little scaled down, but really similar.
I think always going to say the crab. And to get the crab and the charcuterie board is kind of a nice light meal.
Yeah.
So that's for lunch at least. For breakfast, what I love about a buffet is you could just get all the things and taste them. So, I mean, it's all good.
Yep. And again, watch our vlogs on our Castaway Key Day. We were able to order Churro Mickey waffles, not at Marceline Market, but for our sit-down breakfast. Those were great.
I did hear that someone ordered them ahead of time at Marceline Market and it worked.
Really?
So basically, like I said before, you can ask anything. You have to give it time. You can't say, hey, can you make me a churro waffle and expect it in 10 minutes? Like, you need to ask at least a day ahead, if not 2.
Yes.
Don't be expectant. Just be thankful and ask. And if they can do it, great. If not, that's okay.
Yeah, there's a chance they weren't going to be able to do it for us. And we told them it's okay.
Yeah. So that's good to have that.
Never hurts to ask.
Never hurts to ask. As far as rotational dining, favorite food?
I would say the filet at 1923. That was probably my favorite because they don't have that kind of filet on the other ships that we've been on.
Okay. Arendelle, I didn't even order it, but Lindsay did, and she didn't like it, but I took it over. It was like almost like Swedish meatballs.
That was good.
With this delicious, creamy sauce.
Gravy type sauce.
It had like a tarragon flavor. Oh my gosh, it was so good. Like, I want some right now. And then Lindsay loved the lamb.
She loved the lamb.
Rack of lamb.
And she was excited to remember, then I think she forgot, that's also available at like Triton's or Lumiere's on the smaller ships, or
she's kind of a new...
all the French restaurants that are on all the ships.
Yeah. Just remember, you can order more than one entree. You can try lots of things.
Let's try to do
lightning round. I forgot. Sorry.
Silly question, but do adults get candy? And this is specific to Halloween cruises.
I've seen so many people ask that on Facebook.
It says we're doing all adults Halloween cruise next year. So you'll get this in time. Yes. Just bring a bag. We didn't do it.
They didn't give you a bag.
Yeah, they'll give you a bag. But bring a bag, take one of their bags, get a couple of their bags, and walk around just like the families or kids do, and just they'll give anyone who comes by with a bag candy.
Yep.
Just a couple more. How did you like the new Disney Plus bands? This is actually our last question. Let's go.
Okay, I feel really bad about answering this because they were recommended to us by someone who I want to say I love them just for their sake because they thought that I would love them.
Yeah.
But I didn't love them. I'm sorry. To me,
sorry, Leanne.
I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Corey.
Chris really loved them. I think Alyssa liked them. The thing that was frustrating for me is, one, you still have to take your Key to the World card when you get off the ship. So you have to make sure to remember it at that point. And two, there were several places we went where we had to take it off and hand it to them. When you add up 4 people getting something that's $30 that isn't necessary, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, and Lindsay didn't get one because we told the girls, if you get one, you're buying it yourself.
Yeah.
So they were like $35 for the cheapy ones, the ones that we got. And you could spend more if you want to get a more themed one, I guess. I'm glad I got it because we can use it in the parks the next time we go to the parks. They have multiple uses. If it was just for that cruise,
yeah,
no, not worth it for that.
We will go on other cruises and we will go to the parks. I'm just kind of cheap.
Yeah,
and I don't like. I think of things.
She levels me out.
It's true. This is exactly why I didn't even go into the store. I'm like, I don't need to go in there. I don't need to see these things because I'm just going to want to buy them and I don't need them.
Yeah. I like the convenience of just not having to wear my lanyard everywhere and just having something on my wrist.
And I don't mind the lanyard.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. The one thing that I didn't care as much about was how, how it lights up when you're doing different, experiences, whether it's the fireworks. I thought it was cool. That didn't push me over the edge saying, oh yeah, everyone's got to have this. Yeah. Just because usually if it's like Pirate Night and you're watching the stage show, you're watching the stage show. You're not looking at your wrist. If you're looking at the fireworks, you're not looking at your wrist. You're looking at the fireworks.
It's kind of fun when you look down and see it lighting up.
One other thing that I do want to agree with you on is that on the Wish, for some reason, when you use your Disney band to buy a drink at a bar, at a lounge, or get a coffee, or even at the store, you have to take your Disney band, Magic Band off, and they have to take it behind the counter, scan it, and then they give it back to you. I do not like that. And it's weird because I know on the other ships, in the store, in the lounge, remember they had those on the counter, and you could just tap your Key to the World card right there. Not in every space, but in most spaces they had that. I don't know why they didn't just have it on the counter where you could just tap your band. It can be improved to improve the guest experience for those who have it. That's our take on it. Not a lightning response. Sorry.
We're not really good at lightning responses.
I know. We can try. There were a couple other questions that our girls, I think, would better respond to. So we're going to include their responses right now.
Hi guys, it's Lindsay, Alyssa, and Bean here. Hi. The first question we have is, how comfortable is the sofa bed? For this cruise, I was the only one who used the sofa bed. Alyssa used the Murphy one. Yeah. But honestly, I think it's fairly comfortable as a kid who has a fairly normal bed to usually sleep on. Compared to the queen bed that our parents slept on, I've tried it a few times. It's not gonna be as comfortable as that. It's a little more firm in my opinion, but I still thought it was comfortable. How comfortable was the Murphy bed for you?
I think it was more comfortable than the sofa bed. The Murphy bed was more comfortable, I think.
So our last one is, how did the kids clubs compare on the Wish versus the Fantasy? So out of the 4 ships that we've been on, the Magic, the Wonder, the Fantasy, and the Wish, the Fantasy has been by far my favorite for the Vibe Club. It's really spacious. It has this fun little, a little amphitheater type thing. It has all these nooks for eating, and it has its own pool, deck area. It's so fun. I made a lot of friends on that cruise because it was longer and there was just a lot of things to do. I definitely like the Fantasy one more. What do you think of the Vibe on the Wish?
I thought it was fun. It wasn't that big, but I played some trivia and some video games on it, and I thought that was pretty fun. So
Would you recommend getting your parents to sign the form if you're only 13 to go to Vibe?
Yeah, I think so. It's a pretty nice area, so yeah.
I don't really remember what the Edge was like for the Wish, but I do remember the Oceaneers Club we went to. We only were able to visit the Oceaneers through the open house. It was really fun to enter because there was like a slide, and then it was really big. There were a ton of things to do, so I thought that was really cool. Back to the parental units.
All right, after doing some editing on this video, I realized there was a couple things we missed as we sat down to do our Wish review. We had a pros and cons list, but it took forever, so I cut it out. So Carrie has a con.
Yeah.
She want to talk about, then I have a pro that I want to talk about.
One thing that I don't love about the Wish is that it doesn't have that walking track. Because I love the walking track. I love to walk around the ship several times.
Yeah.
And it does have kind of another option, but it's just not as good. I just love the walking all the way around the ship. That's a con for me.
Yeah, and there is a pro to it because you get to go out on the front of the ship, which you can't do on it. I don't think you can do that on any of the ships that I can think of. So that's really kind of a cool feature of it, but I agree. I like the full track around the whole ship.
Yeah.
For me, the pro, honestly, is the staterooms. The staterooms are really nice compared to the other ships. Mm-hmm. I just feel like they're a little, I mean, obviously they're newer, so they're a little more elevated feeling. There's aspects of it that I think we liked more than the other ships. Mm-hmm. So that's a couple of things we didn't mention that, well, now you heard it. Now let's go back to us as we wrapped up the video. We want to wrap up the video just by, a couple last thoughts. Would we sail on the Wish again? No one asked us that, but I thought that would be an interesting thing to kind of chat about just for a quick moment. I don't think so. It's not because we didn't like the ship.
Yeah.
It's a very simple, basic itinerary.
I don't want to give the wrong impression. We did love the Wish.
Yes.
If it was going out of San Diego,
yes,
we'd be on there in a minute.
Yes. It has nothing to do with the ship. It has to do with the itinerary.
Yeah.
We wouldn't go out of our way to go on that itinerary again.
Yeah.
Do we like the ship? Yes. I think we really like the ship.
Yes.
I would rather go on a longer cruise on the Wish, but even better, go on a longer cruise that the Treasure is going to eventually do.
Yeah, because the Treasure is going to do the 7-night cruises, right?
Yep.
And it's basically the same as the Wish, just different theming.
But I think the theming on the Treasure is definitely more in line with kind of what we like as a family.
Now that our kids are older.
Yes, exactly.
When they were little, of course, they loved princesses.
Yes. But I'm excited to eventually go on the Treasure and explore all those theme spaces and really enjoy more of the things that we really didn't have time to enjoy on the Wish.
Yeah. But I think for someone who a 4-night is what they can do, and
especially if you're attaching a cruise onto a parks trip as well. So you're doing stuff at Disney World and you want to do 3 or 4 night on the Wish, go for it. You're going to have a blast.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Did anyone ask if we're going on the Treasure? We don't have anything booked.
No, we don't have anything booked on the Treasure. We have our eyes on something in the future, but
we have a certain date range in mind.
We like to plan ahead.
Yeah, we like to know that we have vacation coming.
Yep. We have a possible cruise next year that may or may not happen, but right now, nothing is for sure in the cards as far as Disney cruises are concerned.
I think it's pretty for sure we're going to go on another one someday.
Yes, for sure. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate just you taking your time to hear our thoughts on the Wish based on our experience on the ship. If you have questions that maybe got stirred up as you were watching, please put them in the comments. We'd love to respond to them as best we can there. Look for our video that's coming out next week, which will be our experience we had at Buc-ee's in Georgia. That was so much fun.
I cannot wait to watch that video.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to editing it and sharing that with you guys. So we hope you guys have an amazing week. We'll see you again really soon. Take care. Bye.
Bye.